Hello everybody, welcome to yet another episode of Cape Rugby TV. It is of course Wednesday night, and as you know we bring you the very best of Western Province Club Rugby. This week we'll be looking at the Varsity Cup, the Community Cup, we'll take a look at the Super 15. I know many of you are looking forward to see how you did in the Super Brew competition. Well, I must say that was quite an exciting adventure over the weekend. We're finally into it, but we'll catch up with that a little bit later. My guests on the panel this evening, of course, Morgan Newman. Hello, Morgs.
How's it, chaps? How are you going?
Pretty good.
Good.
Awesome rugby weekend. So you lost your razor?
Yeah, I'm started playing again, so I'm going for the rugged look, you know, try and scare off the opponents.
Right then, of course, glad to have him on the panel. A man who's well known in the communities of Western Province Rugby and an old stalwart of Western Province Club Rugby, Labeeb Levy. Hello, Labeeb.
Hi, JP. Thanks for having me here.
Love the T-shirt.
Yeah, I like it. I think I'm a bit off color. You're giving me some extra airtime here. The black versus the blue, but I love it myself.
Well, we love it. I think you look absolutely fantastic, representing the Cape Rugby TV team. And of course, you're one of those guys we've got. We're saying, "Hello, I'm Labeeb Levy from Western Province Rugby, and you're watching Cape Rugby TV."
The Cape Town Tens, yeah.
Yes, of course, that was the Cape Town Tens, and of course, Mr. Herman Abrams. Hello, Mr. H.
Good evening, JP.
You have a good rugby weekend?
Yeah, I think, you know, it was one of those weekends, since last Wednesday to tonight, that I probably watched more rugby in that time than I ever watched in a long time. There's far too much rugby.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't think you can ever say there's too much rugby. Maybe for the players, but from our point of view, you can never have enough rugby. I quite frankly think there should just be a 24-hour rugby channel. Anyway, so yeah, but talking about a 24-hour rugby channel, you can get pretty much what you need here on the Cape Rugby Show, because we cover it all. In actual fact, I think we are the only show in South Africa that covers it all. We cover the Varsity Cup, we cover the Community Cup, we cover Club Rugby, we cover Super 15, and when the rest of the season kicks off, we talk about Curry Cup, we talk about the Vodacom Cup, we talk about Sevens. International, Labeeb, yeah, 100%. Yeah, so we really do make sure we try and bring you all of the rugby during the course of the season. But of course, it is time now for, as usual, to start off with the Varsity Cup. Don't forget the Varsity Shield forms part of the Varsity Cup. Let's take a look before we start off with some of the results from the Varsity Shield. As you can see there, TUT was up against UWC on Monday night. 18 points to 8 win for TUT over UWC. Of course, UW's playing away, and Fort Hare up against KZN. Fort Hare with a home way loss there, 20 points to 18. Let's start with you, Mr. H. We were talking about this home and away thing again. Here's a bit of a, well, as not really expected, but I mean a tough one for UWC away against TUT. And again, the away game factor plays a big role.
Yeah, but I think we must overcome that. You know, it was like in the early stages of Super 50. South African teams couldn't travel, and they sort of, you know, we all accepted that when they go overseas, they're going to lose their games, until they had a mindset change and they started winning their games overseas. Now, the UWC and the others, they must fall in line with that kind of thinking, you know, and say, but we need to win one or two of those away games. You can't just accept that you're going to lose the games.
Labeeb, let's go to you. I mean, you've done quite a lot of traveling with teams. You know what the environment is like, and we've discussed this with you know, the likes of UWC. The importance of creating the same kind of environment at home and then traveling with that environment, so you take the field away. How do the players do it?
It comes down to, I think, to the planning as well. From a management perspective, you need to decide how your players respond to traveling. Some teams prefer to travel closer to the game, others earlier. So the management need to see how the teams deal with those issues. One issue that sometimes happens when players travel is that if you spend too much time at the hotel, they get bored. Morgan can bear me out with that.
I don't know what that's supposed to mean for Morgan. Like, what does he do? What do they do in tour when they get bored?
Like the coaches and the management, they need to make sure obviously that there's a captain's run. There's actually players have activities to do. make sure that the eating time is proper so that they can get a peak at the right time of the day.
Yeah.
Obviously, with different teams, they have different budgets even, you know, in terms of when they travel, etc. So all you need to do is to get the proper balance and know what works for your team and create the environment so that your players is in a proper space.
You talk about the environment like that. Morgs, I mean, I've been involved with the Stormers for a long time in Western Province Rugby, and I think even when you were playing for Stormers Western Province, some of the things that the guys were doing is that they would make, for example, they would set the changing room up in the same way at home, and that they would be away then, and the team manager would do little tricks to make sure that the players have that same feeling.
Yeah, look, James, it's very difficult to simulate exactly what happens at home, purely because the guys are sleeping in their own beds at night and all these kinds of things. But I mean, with regard to the Western Province and the Stormers, they definitely do try and simulate as much as close to as possible what happens back home. So the changing room will be the same way. I mean, the players will, you know, the non-playing squad will go down to the team and will put every little player that he wants, if he's got his recovery drink for after the game, and if he's got his half-time shake that he wants to take at half-time, each player will have those powders in their bottles ready for them next to their boots, so that when they arrive at the changing room, it's sort of, you know, as closely simulated as what they get at Newlands.
Does that then help you, like, get your mental picture right, Labeeb?
Yeah. Obviously, it's called 1%, man. So if I'm used to drinking the shake, like Morgan said, if I'm used to listening to a certain song, if I'm used to having a pre-match video, those are all the 1% which hopefully adds up and makes you operate at optimal level.
Yeah, Morgs.
Yeah, James. The other important thing is the meals that the guys eat, because you know when you're staying in hotels, you're eating from buffet meals, and you're not used to sort of having 3 different options for breakfast and all these different kinds of things. So when I was involved with Steph Totoy at the Storm, is what he's trying to do is he's really trying to go and say, right, what do individual players like? Some guys like cereals, other guys like egg and bacon. You know, other guys like nothing for breakfast. You know, that's just how they do it. So you'll find that the higher up you go, each player will have his designated meal that he'll have for that breakfast and for that lunch. And I think that's just, you know, a big important factor as to your performance on the field, because as we all know, nutrition is sort of 85% of the battle won.
Well, folks, one team that also managed to lose away from home was Fort Hare, losing to KZN 18 points to 20. Once again, the travel factor does prove to be a tough factor. Let's take a look now at some of the logs. We'll take a look at some of the logs on the Shield there. CUT is still on 17 points. KZN on 12. They've played 5 matches. They've won 3. UWC is in 3rd place. They're still in the running on 11 points. Fort Hare on 11, and TUT is on 7 points. TUT really seem to be struggling there with a big points difference of 65. It's time now for us to take an ad break, and when we come back, we'll take a look at the Varsity Cup.
Get so much more for so much less at Tata Westenburg, like the new Super Ace 1-ton mini truck. Our special introductory offer begins at only $109,995 from only $1499 per month. With a 60,000 kilometer 3-year maintenance plan, the longest load body in its class, power steering, and so much more. The Super Ace mini truck is powered to take your business places. To find out more, SMS the words Super Ace to 32010 and one of our service consultants will be in touch. Terms and conditions apply.
Tata is a good buy for sure.
Get more fantastic deals on Evox products at Dis-Chem now. Grab a 1.9 kilogram Lean Pro diet shake plus 30 free GCC diet caps for only $3.99. With 21 grams of protein and only 2 grams of carbohydrates, Lean Pro is perfect for your low-carb diet. Build lean muscle mass with 2.6 kilograms of amino whey protein for only $449.95 and get a free creatine HCl. Get down to your nearest Dis-Chem now for more great deals on Evox products. Evox Advanced Nutrition is the official sports nutrition supplier to Western Province Rugby and the DHL Stormers.
Hello folks, welcome back. Yes, of course, Cape Rugby TV here on Wednesday nights on Cape Town TV. Make sure you tell your friends. Don't forget, you can find us on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Cape Rugby TV, and for those of you that are on Twitter, at Cape Rugby TV. Time for us to quickly look at some of the highlights from the match between Tuks and Marties. We've got some footage for you once again. Let's check it out. Welcome back, folks. Yes, there you go. Varsity Cup. Of course, Tuks against Marty. Some fantastic footage there. Looks like they put in some great hits there. Let's take a look now at the results from the Varsity Cup on Monday night. There you see Wits are up against UJ, and it was a big win for Wits. 63 points to 24. Marty's managed to scrape away in the dying seconds, 18 points to 16. Shimla's went down to NMMU. This after Shimla's fielding some strong teams in the last couple of weeks. 10-14 loss there for Shimla's. And Pika beating Ikeys 29 points to 26. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from the match between Pika and Ikeys. Fantastic footage there. Right, of course, just for folks, it was UJ with a victory over Wits, 63 points to 24. Labeeb, big win there for UJ over Wits. Would you have expected such a big numbers?
Obviously, UJ, the team that's on form at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, they've proved it in the whole competition, going close against Marty's and obviously winning the other game. So that result was expected, possibly not the score, but after watching the game, Wits never gave up for 1 minute. They actually played all the time. They had also more opportunities. I think, obviously from UJ's side, they've got some experienced players, an experienced coach in Hugo van As. Their captain, Justin Wheeler, is the most capped varsity cup player ever. He's played Super Rugby as well. So they never had things their own way all the time. They had to work for their points. They actually had to work to prevent Wits from scoring points. And Wits was chasing that bonus point try. They only managed to score 3 tries. So the game was exciting from the first minute till the last. The ref, Rasta Rashivanga, I think the game went into like 82 minutes. Yeah. I mean, I think he even forgot that the hooter went off because it was such an exciting game.
But I mean, a good result then for UJ, an away win.
Very, very good result.
Because they're second on a log at the moment, chasing Marty's.
Yeah, both teams are in Joburg, so...
I suppose for them it's not such a big... It's not like flying.
There's no travelling involved. You're probably driving to the field.
Good point. Absolutely a good point, yeah. Marty's, it was very close for them. Mr. H, you watched the game. Marty's, I mean, it went down to the dying seconds. I don't know, Marty's just doesn't seem to be coming away with those big victories. It's either a question of Marty's not so strong this year, or the other teams are getting much better. Yeah,
and for the second week in a row, they had to play with 14 men at one stage. They'll have to watch their discipline. The yellow card that they got also led to a penalty try. Right. So, one needs to look at those things. But again, the Marty's, it's the first time since 2008 that they win there. So it was a fantastic victory for them, and you could see afterwards, they were overjoyed. Yeah. But I think maybe they also, didn't think that they will win that one there.
And of course, for them it was an away win. I mean, they did have to do a bit of travelling.
Yeah. And again, Renil Hugo, he played number 8 instead of his normal lock position. He was absolutely fantastic. The opponents, they like to drive from, lineouts close to the sky. Yeah. He stole the ball on 2 occasions right on his own try line, which was fantastic, and they couldn't do the things that they wanted to do. So, yeah, he's somebody that they must look at.
Morgs, I saw you last night tweeting about Renil Hugo saying something about his composure on the field. Maybe you want to fill us in.
Yeah, look, it's not something I'd repeat on TV, but it's a little saying that the guys had last year, that everyone was just chill out, that they've got this. It was a saying that Stellenbosch had, and Renil was the one that came up with it. So I think he's clearly using it at the moment in the Varsity Cup.
Labeeb, how important is it for a captain at that time of the game to calm the team down when it's in the dying minutes?
Very important. Using Renil Hugo as an example, he's obviously played, it was actually Province versus Bulls. Okay, so he's played those players, and I watched the one lineup which he stole from the line, and I heard the call. I won't even go into the detail of it, and I knew Renil was going to take it because the last time we spoke last year, he said he's got the lineouts figured out.
Yeah.
And he proved once again that he's a quality player, and just the one thing I want to mention is, you know, the Varsity Cup rules, the penalties is worth 2 points, you know, which promotes people rather to go for touch, which is what Tux did, and it's on 2 occasions Tux was leading. I mean, the score was still 16-all, and they had opportunity to go. That was the last tournament, and they opted for touch. If they had taken those 2 penalties, the score could have been 28. So the actual decision didn't go their way this time. Tux.
Another player though that has got provincial experience in the family. I think his father played. Neil Lichu played for Western Province.
Neil Lichu played Springboks as well in the 80s.
Yeah, Mr. H, I mean, you know about that. I think he played in your day.
And he was a gentleman. He's a real gentleman on the field.
Yes.
On the field. So yeah, the genes is right. You know.
So not quite in the Bucky's water mold of things. All right, so a good win there for Marties. That does keep them on top of the log there. Shimlers, of course, we said they lost against NMMU. Ikeys, of course, didn't go well for them. What is going on with Ikeys, Labeeb? It just doesn't seem to be happening for them. I know they've had quite a few injuries.
Looking at the score, it was a very close game. Obviously, it wasn't a televised game, but the score's telling me that they're not giving up. Okay, they're losing, but they're not giving up, which is going to make quite an exciting game next week when they play Marties. I've spoke to some of the players. They're saying the vibe is cool, the coaching is cool. They feel them at certain point in the game they're not making the proper decision. So I think when they're going to click, they're going to surprise a few people along the way.
Just a matter of it coming together.
Matter of it, them clicking and coming together.
Morgs, your feeling?
Yeah, look, it's going to be a tough one again for them against Stellenbosch this coming Monday. But in general, I think, you know, it's that one win that will change your whole season, you know.
Yeah.
You go 1 or 2 losses on the road and automatically those close games start going against you. And then you win 1 or 2 games and all of a sudden the wins start coming your way. So it's a quality Ike side that they've got there, and Stellenbosch are not going to go down to the Green Mile and get it easy. So I see Ike is really upsetting a few teams, and look, they can still sneak in the back door, maybe make the top 4 and you know, make it to the playoffs. Still
a couple of games left there. Let's quickly take a look at the logs now in the Varsity Cup. And there you see Marties are on, well, they're still in first place. They've managed to pull away. As much as we think that it's been tough for Marties, the logs are showing the details. Marties has played 4 and they've won 4. And they've got 18 points for their efforts. UJ's in second place on 15 points, Pucker on 14, Tux on 11, NMMU, the Madeebs on 11, Shimlers on 7, Ikeys are down there in 7th place in 5th points, or at least on 5 points, and Wits are in last position on 1. So a little bit of work to do then, folks, for the teams in the Varsity Cup. I'm sure things are going to change for some of those teams. Let's look at the fixtures now coming up starting on Monday. It's KZN up against TUT. It's a 7 o'clock kickoff on Monday the 4th of March. And UWC, home game against CUT. Right, so very important there, folks. UWC, this coming Monday the 4th, UWC against CUT. It's going to be a cracker of a match. You want to make sure that you get down there. You know what the entertainment factor is like at UWC. I think it costs almost nothing to get in the gate. You're going to get exceptional value in the stands. UWC really does turn on the entertainment. It is the one night of rugby that you should be out there watching Varsity Shield rugby that rocks on a Monday night, this coming Monday at UWC. And if you're not one of those games, you can always get down to one of the Marties games or one of the Ikeys games or when they're playing at home. But this coming Monday, we want to see you at UWC when they take on CUT. It's going to be a cracker of a match, and it's certainly one of those teams, local teams, that you want to make sure that you support as much as possible. Let's take a look at the fixtures now in the Varsity Cup section. It's Ikeys up against Marties. Home game for them at 5:15. Tux take on Wits in Pretoria at 7. The Madeebs against UJ at 7 in Port Elizabeth. And it's Shimlers up against Pucker in Bloemfontein at 7. So those are your Varsity Cup fixtures, your Shield fixtures. We will see you for the Varsity Shield on Monday at UWC. Going to be cracker, going to be exciting, and we'll try on the following Tuesday, or at least we'll try to check that the guys are all back and ready on the Tuesday so that we can get someone like Charlton van Jaarsveld or Freddie Miller back on the show next week, Wednesday, to find out how their match went or this coming Monday. Time for us to take an ad break. That is a wrap of our Varsity Shield and Varsity Cup fixtures, results and logs. A lot more exciting entertainment coming up in the Varsity Shield and the Cup in the weeks to follow. Ad break. We're back with you guys in a mo.
Get so much more for so much less at Tata Westenburg, like the new Super Ace 1-ton mini truck. Our special introductory offer begins at only 109,995 from only 1499 per month. With a 60,000 kilometer 3-year maintenance plan, the longest load body in its class, power steering and so much more. The Super Ace mini truck is powered to take your business places. To find out more, SMS the words Super Ace to 32010 and one of our service consultants will be in touch. Terms and conditions apply.
Tata is a good buy for sure.
Get more fantastic deals on Evox products at Dis-Chem now. Grab a 1.9 kilogram Lean Pro diet shake plus 30 free GCC diet caps for only $3.99. With 21 grams of protein and only 2 grams of carbohydrates, Lean Pro is perfect for your low-carb diet. Build lean muscle mass with 2.6 kilograms of amino whey protein for only $449.95 and get a free creatine HCl. Get down to your nearest Dis-Chem now for more great deals on Evox products. Evox Advanced Nutrition is the official sports nutrition supplier to Western Province Rugby and the DHL Stormers.
Welcome back, folks. Cape Rugby TV, Wednesdays at 9. Time for us now to look at the Community Cup. And the two teams that we are backing in Western Province are, of course, Durban and SK Warmers. There were some cracker matches over the weekend. And we're happy to say that one of the biggest supporters of SK Warmers is in the studio with us this evening, Labeeb Levy. Labeeb, SK Warmers, second match now. Off to a good start?
First match.
Sorry, first match, of course. That's right. They had a bye in the first week, yeah. A good win for them, 49-26 over Villagers Worcester.
Yeah, it was a good win. Obviously, the coaching staff and everyone will actually take the result. It was a shaky start first half. You must know, Worcester Villagers, they came for a nice victory themselves, so they were a bit more relaxed. The SK guys were a bit nervous. New Greenpoint track, Kaapse Klopse, the band was going.
Hang on. Let me just stop you there. I got to ask you, before you tell me about the rest, are the Klopse an intimidating factor?
I don't know. You'll have to ask the opposition, but we believe that, they're not used to the
yeah, but
music.
you keep doing it, so you must know.
We're hoping it is that the like we mentioned earlier, take players out of their comfort zone.
Yeah,
they see a guy with a painted face, the band, a guy with a snare drum, trumpet going. We think it's worth about 10 points.
I've just got to ask you a little bit about the cultural history. If we just go back, sorry folks, I'm actually steering a little bit away from the rugby topic, but if we go back to the history of the minstrels, the Klopse, the Coons as it was so to be called, and now it's not really politically correct anymore, and I think people still call a lot of people the Coons.
Minstrels.
Yeah, but I mean, if you go back to the painted face thing, it was almost like I wouldn't say war paint, but a way to disguise yourself.
Yeah, it started obviously in the late 1800s, when slavery, etc., and then people were actually given the day off, so they wouldn't work for the madam or the bosses on the day. Then the slaves were actually given the day off. And then what they would do, they would paint their faces and they will just have jovial and have music, go marching, etc. So it was the way they express themselves. The song, they would actually make fun. They would make fun of their bosses without them knowing. So it was that whole excitement.
And you know what I find absolutely incredible is that you look at the cultural history around the world. People often don't know how the Japanese fighting class started. Is that back in the years gone by, the samurai class, the peasants were never allowed to carry weapons. And they started their own weapons from the farm tools that they used. And their gis, their martial arts suits, were their working clothes. Now today, that is your traditional karate suit or your traditional judo suit. And if you look in Brazil, that dancing fighting style of capoeira was when the peasants, so to speak, they were not allowed to do any form of martial arts. So they started a dance which the sort of the aristocracy couldn't stop because it was a dance. And in that dance, they weaved in again a martial arts.
Yeah.
And it's funny how so many cultures around the world, when they were under oppression, formed their own little ways to overcome the oppression. And I think what you've given us a fantastic history lesson there, because I think a lot of the youth today maybe forget where their roots.
Their roots, yeah. Obviously, using the word culture, Community Cup, which makes it quite different to Varsity Cup, because Varsity Cup is just students. Community Cup, it's different cultures playing each other. You know, you have teams from Pretoria Police to Shenzhen to College Rovers to SK Warmers to Worcester Villagers to Wellington Roses. All different cultures. So that's what the team's actually experiencing. You know, they're traveling. We used to the Cape culture, but now you travel, you get something else in club rugby, which makes a difference between Com Cup and Varsity Cup.
Com Cup, it's already got a nickname, folks, the Com Cup. But yeah, I mean, if you look at the Klopse, I wouldn't say it's gangsterism, but you have like a battle between the Klopse. You know, Mr. H used to have the Belgravia Buckle Belt Swingers and Bailtje Cup Society. You know, Mr. H, quite a lot of history there. I mean, people coming together, and it can be intimidating if you change the environment. It's a little bit like you and your jumping castle.
Yeah, no, it is so. You know, when you look at say a team coming to Greenpoint, and suddenly this band jumps out of nothing here, loud noise, and you're not used to that, you know. It can be intimidating.
Well, I can tell you one thing that does intimidate is the broadcasters, because for them it's like a vuvuzela. They can't the noise just kills the broadcasting walks.
Yeah, no, James, so listen, I think before the intimidatory factor, I don't think you can hear your calls on the field. I've played there quite a few times, and I tell you what, the Greenpoint track, once that band is in full force, it's a case of you can't make calls, you can't hear the calls.
Yeah.
And every hit, the band has got a special, I think a special tune that they play that for every big hit. So yeah, it definitely is something to behold if you haven't experienced it before.
But let's go back to the game now. 49-26 win for SK Warmers over Villagers. Adnan Osmond once again playing out of his socks. He's been at SK for a long time now. Yeah. He clearly has the leadership skills. I've seen him over the last 6 years really grow in maturity. He's got a stature about himself now. He's not the biggest guy in the team, but he's certainly one of the most respected guys in the team. Yeah,
he's cool as a cucumber. I mean, he scored 2 tries. One of the teams, the other one was quite a long-range try, and he's got a cool head when it comes to goal kicking as well. He reminds me a lot of Dimitri Katrakilis because he will slot it over from anywhere. Sorry,
we don't mention those names on the show. We have to just say we don't mention anything. Okay, sorry, just joking there.
Mentioning goal kickers. But the game was quite tight in the first half. Yeah. I think Worcester Villagers missed a few opportunities. SK as well. After half time, SK came out quite firing and they put a few tries, but Worcester Villagers got the odd interception which kept them in the game, and the game was in balance up until the end, even though the score doesn't necessarily reflect it. Yeah. So solid win there for SK Warmers, 49-26 over Villagers Worcester. Mr. H, you were at the Durban game. It was a good win for them over African Bombers, 45-26.
Yeah, it was a great day of rugby. I like the atmosphere there. They even had jumping castles, I might mention. And the whole, but they struggled at the beginning. It took them 20-odd minutes to cross the line for the first time. Yeah. And African Bombers never gave up. They played their hearts out till the last minute, and in fact, they scored 4 tries. Yes. So they went away with a bonus point. But for Durbanville, it was a very, very costly victory. They lost their flanker, Andrew Picotto. He went on. He was 2 minutes on the field. They carried him off. He's out for the season. I think he tore his ligaments. And they locked Dow Wessels. He was injured in a tackle. His shoulders popped out. He's out for a few weeks. So it was a costly victory for them. And they'll have to sort of realign the team again. But they had good players. The Namibian flyer, Tian Skotse, he scored a very good try, and then he also kicked 5 conversions because they scored 7 tries. And Alconre Botha was in good form, and so was Gerard Teron, the other flank. Yeah. They were all over them. But African Bombers really, they were always in the game, always in the game.
So a positive start then for the two teams. SK Warmers with a win, Durban with a win, and yeah, that's where we want to see them. We've got a little clip for you folks, the match SK Warmers over the weekend. Let's take a look at that clip there.
It's fine, no? Advantage offside? Get back. Offside, advantage, second advantage. Advantage over. Advantage over.
Let's go to the logs now, folks. Let's take a look and see how our boys, SK Warmers and Durbanville, have done on the logs. There you see it's Johnson College Rovers from KZN. They're on 10 points. SK Warmers on 5 after just one game. In second place, Villagers from Boland, well, they're in third place on 4 points. Shishin on 1 and Dispatch are in 0 points. It's Welkom Rovers on 8. Durbanville are sitting on 11 points. Well, this is of course in Pool B now, folks. Pretoria Police are on 4, African Bombers on 7, and Boland Police are on 3. Those are your logs. Now let's take a look at the fixtures coming up. Remember, you need to get down to those matches and support SK Warmers and Durbanville every time they play a home game. In the fixtures then, we see Dispatch up against Worcester, and we see Griquas taking on SK Warmers at Kachu. So it's an away game for SK Warmers. This is this coming Saturday, folks. African Bombers take on Police. Rustenburg Impala take on the Crusaders. It's Roodepoort against the Raiders in Roodepoort. Bloemfontein against Durbanville. Away game for Durbanville. And it's Evergreens against Brakpan, and Roses United from Boland take on Selbornians in Wellington. Those are your Community Cup fixtures, logs and results. Make sure, as I said, that you support those two teams. Mr. H, you mentioned something earlier to me while we were sitting downstairs in terms of club rugby. So I think this is our little feature now where we can talk about club rugby. Might as well squeeze it into our Community Cup rugby. Police, a team who used to play for Western Province, who traditionally used to be a very strong team. I believe they're back in the Western Province structures.
Yes, last night at the council meeting, the Western Province Union accepted them as a club. Obviously, they'll go under probation, for a 2-year period to see if they can make it. They'll start in the lowest league, the 4th division. And but the thing is that the police top brass, they have agreed, that they will go back and assist them. That they, in the last few years, they went out of existence because they had no support. Structural and infrastructural support from the top. Now they will get that support, and hopefully they will become a strong team again.
This, of course, changes the season's fixtures.
Yeah,
we see that some people have published the fixtures as if they're official. Folks, incidentally, if you have seen any fixtures that have been emailed to you, they are not official. They are purely for your own purposes to study. Anyone who has publicized any fixtures anywhere other than on the Western Province Club Rugby website. Those are not official fixtures, folks. You will have to wait for the fixtures until they are publicised by Western Province Rugby. Beware of liberty takers out there publicising fixtures. Beware of clubs passing out fixtures as if they are official. They currently still have to be ratified by the union, and as you heard now, you would have heard that an extra club has come into the picture, so that would immediately change all of the fixtures. Labeeb, let's go back to you. We mentioned police. You had some interesting things to say about how the players will be able to take an opportunity to play in different leagues now. I mean, at least from their stations, they can all get back into rugby.
Yeah, obviously, police, if I'm not mistaken, they had merged at some point with another club. I'm not sure. I think it was Vikings, so they've been reformed now again. But it's actually nice for the police force to reinstate a sporting environment in police stations, because sometimes the police guys are not in the best shape. Our police force, that's just my opinion. So they can encourage rugby to be revived at the various police stations. And I remember in the 90s, even probably the 80s, but the 90s when we played against police, it was very tough to play against a police rugby club.
Yeah.
Because they had good training. There was guys from Pretoria that would come to training in Cape Town, and they would give you a very good game and win you regularly as well.
Yep.
So, Mr. H, you were telling us about police, and Commissioner Lamour, I think, made a comment.
Yeah, Commissioner Lamour is very keen, that the police club be a force again and that they get the support.
Yeah.
But I think that he sees it more in a bigger picture. The police is in the community, and if you only see them as police, you might have a different vibe against them, But if you see them as fellow sportspersons, then the whole thing changes, They become more acceptable to the community.
But talking about the community, I mean, it's a massive opportunity from a team building perspective, because once again, it's players from a community, being their police community, being able to take to the field, and which encourages self-esteem, it encourages discipline, it takes away some stress. And I mean, if there's one community that needs to relieve the stress, we know it's the police. Labeeb, in your opinion, a community level interaction from a team sport point of view, how important is that?
I think it's perfect, especially with the gangsters out there, with the drug problem that are there. It's important that communities can communicate with the police at that level.
Yeah.
Because it might even encourage more people in the community to become policemen, and that will actually just close that relationship, as Mr. H said earlier.
Well, I've got to bring Morgan into this, because I think a lot of people forget about, and Morgan doesn't like to sing his own praises, but I have to sort of make up Morgan's, call it rap sheet, for lack of a better expression here. Morgan, you played for the Springboks, you played for the Stormers, you played for Western Province Rugby, you captained the emerging Springboks in the British and Irish Lions tour. I think you played in the Under-21 World Cup, the Under-19 World Cup. I mean, you've really been up there. What I'm getting at here is, if one looks at it from a community perspective, communities, as much as Labeeb was saying now about team building and so forth, they need role models. I would like to know your personal experience, you as Morgan Newman, people in the community, anywhere, in the street, in shopping malls, they must have a sense of pride when they meet you and go, this is a guy who did it, who we can look up to. What is the importance of being a role model, and how do you personally treat that?
Look, James, I must say that obviously I can speak only for the guys that I've had contact with and that have come and sort of played the touch rugby and the soccer in the street with us. And I mean, Rangers Rugby Club, which is around the corner from me, has literally, I think I've seen more guys and sort of my neighbors go there and go, listen, I also want to get involved in rugby. I also want to play rugby, purely because of that 10 or half an hour that you spend playing touch rugby, sort of with the guys that all live in my street. And the same goes for any sporting career. We'd play touch rugby in the street, we'd play soccer in the street. And my brother was a professional footballer, and the same thing happened there. I mean, he ended up having 5 or 6 guys that have just come from there and said, listen, where do you play? I also want to get involved. And I think that has really been a big thing for me, is that seeing these guys go to the nearest club and go, listen, I also want to get involved. And whether it's been from me that has done it sort of, through my community, or other guys like Ishmael Dolly, who's done it in in sort of, in World Cup, and there's so many different stories like that that don't get told. So for me, purely, it's a massive, the community needs it when you see guys doing that, and I think we need to build more of them, build as much of them as we can, as soon as we can, really.
I mean, I truly believe that rugby is, that's the thing that we love. We love rugby, I truly believe that it is a fantastic vehicle in the world of sport to be an opportunity. I mean, look at Mr. H. Mr. H used to be a member of a rather notorious society called the Belgravia Buckle Belt Swingers and Bailchi Cup Society. Now, Mr. H could easily have gone down off the path of righteousness. Nevertheless, he ended up being the Deputy CEO of Western Province Rugby. Mr. H, how did you, as a former member of the Belgravia Buckle Belt Swingers and Bailchi Cup Society, how did you manage to not steer off the path of righteousness and end up being a role model as yourself?
I think it's rugby that kept me there.
Yeah.
Playing, being disciplined, going to practices and listening to the elders.
Yes.
And so that's
right. Well, I mean, you'd been, of course, an experienced member of people telling you to listen to their elders. Let's take a look now, folks, at the results from the Vodacom Super 15. It was Super 15 fever time, and it was that what we will all be waiting for. And I think, of course, there was one big shock result over the weekend, and we'll take a look at that. Let's look at the results now. Highlanders, well, they went down to the Chiefs, 41 points to 27. And of course, it was the Rebels losing to the Brumbies, 30-13. The Stormers, it was a loss for them, 25-17 against the Bulls. The Hurricanes losing to the Blues, 34 points to 20. The Reds, 25-17 over the Waratahs. Cheetahs going down the Sharks, 29 points to 22. And was the Kings with a very surprising win. And I think a lot of people lost their money after expecting the Kings to lose every single game in the Super 15, 22 points to 10. Let's start with you, Morgs. The Highlanders. It was a good win for them, at least a loss for them against the Chiefs. Did we expect anything else? It was a 41-27 win for them.
Look, James, I think the Highlanders have made some good acquisitions. I think Nanu is going to be a big difference for them in midfield. But the Chiefs are defending champions. And, I mean, look, besides the result, the rugby that was played through that, I mean, I've been seeing people tweeting and Facebooking about, there was a 3-minute stint during that game, which I think is the best 3 minutes of Super 15 rugby we've seen in the last, let's call it 5 years. I mean, literally, the guys were just, throwing the ball from end to end. It went from side to side, and I think that's how the Super 15 rugby should be played. I think the guys should really go out there and throw the ball around. This, the old sort of structured, very conservative approach, the New Zealanders have taken that and thrown out the window and really shown how running rugby should be played. And I mean, besides the result, I mean, just the rugby itself is really an example of Super 15 rugby.
Labeeb, the Brumbies beating the Rebels 30 points to 13. I expected a better performance from the Rebels, but it looked like Jake White has got his Brumbies to some level of stability.
Yeah, obviously they would have been slightly disappointed after last year's close call in order to make it to the playoffs. So they've done some of their planning, and you can actually see it on the field. They're playing very similar to the way South Africa played when they won the World Cup. Playing in the right areas and attacking in the right areas. So it will be interesting to see how that conference pans out.
Mr. H, good win for the Blues over the Hurricanes.
Yeah, also, I expected the Hurricanes to do better because they're a good team. They can upset anybody. But give it to the Blues, they look like they're back. I mean, at the beginning, in the beginning stages of the Super Rugby, they were the team. Yeah. And then they sort of faded away, and now it looks like they're back again.
Of course, the other results there, it was a loss for the Waratahs, as we said. The Sharks, though, win for them over the Cheetahs. Morgs, solid win for the Sharks. It's pretty much what everybody expected. Maybe they didn't play to their socks, but it is early in the season.
Yeah, look, it's early in the season. The Sharks would just have gone down to Bloom and said any little bit of result they'll take. Yeah. So, to walk away with 5 points is definitely, I think, a job accomplished.
The shock match over the weekend was, of course, the Kings' victory over the Force. To be honest with you, if you watch that match, I'm not going to elaborate too much on the Kings. What I was absolutely disgusted by the fans at the Kings who decided, as much as people have been asking them to not do it, they decided to boo the Force on the field. I think the Force had a shocking game. Quite frankly, I think that the Lions would have beaten the Force, probably with half a team on the day. But nevertheless, congratulations to the Kings, a win for you. But honestly, when you take the field again, considering your background and how you managed to get into this team, at least into the Super 15, I don't think it's appropriate that you boo any team on the field. But nevertheless, Mr. H, a good win for the Kings. 22 points at 10 over the Force.
Yeah, and against all expectations, they're heading the South African Conference.
Can you believe that? I mean, of all teams. Luckily, I didn't take that bet that they would lose every single team in the thing. There we go, though. Those were the other teams, so to speak. It was the Stormers, though, that went down, unfortunately, in the opening game to a very tough Bulls match. But it does look like that match took some serious injury toll for the Bulls as they managed to beat the Stormers 25 points to 17. Morgs, your feeling on the Stormers match?
Yeah, James, again, early days in the competition. It's never easy to go down to Loftus and get a result. But yeah, I mean, the Stormers who pride themselves on their defense to put 27 points past the Stormers away from home. I think they've got a bit of work to do before another tough one where they go to Durban and they play the Sharks. So
yeah.
But a tough week ahead for them.
Labeeb, your opinion of Elton Jantjies? A lot of people were pointing fingers at Elton. He's had a tough couple of weeks behind him, taking to the field. You think he's going to settle in?
Yeah, I think he deserves another opportunity. His goal kicking wasn't up to standard on the day, but I still think he's a quality flyer. He has ability to get his backhand away. He can distribute. He's got the skills. He's shown over time that he is a quality player. So maybe another opportunity for him, and then we should have taken it from there. He's got a big test, like Morg said, Sharks this week.
Well, we haven't seen the team yet. We're expecting Joe Peterson to come in the starting lineup. Jaco Tauto has injured his testicles. So great to have a player. Great to have a player like Jaco Tauto in the squad.
Yeah, Jaco Tauto, I mean, he's a big boy. He's proved his worth at the Lions. He's come into the Stormers team. He's done well in the warm-up games. He's excellent on the training park. He was quite solid last week. Pity about his injury to his testicles, and hopefully it heals early, quick.
But great to have a backup like Joe Peterson in the mix.
Excellent.
You know, I mean, you can't go wrong. You bring him on, he just puts it over.
Goal kicking. I mean, he won the Currie Cup last year for the Stormers with that tackle, you know.
Yeah.
So it's good to have that type of depth, and depth is what's going to make you do well in this comp.
Right, folks, now time for us to look at the Evox competition. If you want to win for yourself a Evox hamper, of course, Evox is the official sports nutrition supplier to Western Province Rugby and the DHL Stormers. We'll start at the beginning again. It's for the before, the during, and the after. If you want to win for yourself the before product, that's the Cyto Crank. Get that. That's what the Stormers use just before a match and before practice. The during is the Super Carbo. That's what you see them drinking on the field. All right, a Super Carbo, and I particularly personally love the orange nachi flavor, the best of all. And then post-match recovery, rapid recovery. That is the product that you want to make sure that you're taking after a match, after training session, to help you get to the next training session. Of course, Labeeb, SK Warmers used this last year?
Yes, we used it and it worked very well. The guys responded to it well. We had guys fresher for the next game, so that works very well.
There you go, folks. Rapid recovery, that's what you need. Get you to the next game, get you to the next training session, straight after every game. You want to win this hamper? Just SMS us now to 33280. Tell us who is the official sports nutrition supplier to Western Province Rugby and the DHL Stormers. And there you can see Kyle Martin. Congratulations, you are last week's winner, Kyle. Your Evox hamper is available for collection. We'll be in touch with you shortly. Let's take a look now at the logs in Super 15. It's the Brumbies up on the top, the Blues, the Southern Kings, the Chiefs, the Bulls, the Sharks, the Rebels, the Reds, the Crusaders, the Waratahs, the Cheetahs, the Force, the Stormers are in 13th place, followed at the bottom by the Highlanders, the Hurricanes. But congratulations to the King, who are in 3rd place. Of course, it is now time for us to look at the fixtures. The Blues take on the Crusaders in Auckland. It's the Waratahs up against the Rebels. The Reds take on the Hurricanes. The Chiefs take on the Cheetahs. The Bulls take on the Force. And it is another away game for the Stormers up against the Sharks. Morgs, your feeling on the Sharks-Stormers match? The Sharks are going to be getting better. The Stormers are also going to be better, but it's going to be a tough game.
Yeah, look, Chaps, to go down to Durban is never easy. You know, it's always a tough one down there. The Sharks, after having one game under the belt, and the Butterflies are now gone.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tough one for the Stormers, but they'll be looking to improve, and I think they've had some harsh words in this past week. And yeah, I'm looking forward to an exciting game. I think it's two of our better running sides in the competition.
Time now for us to look at the Super Brew rankings. Of course, now time for us to check players and posers. Who did the best this week? Who went down? All right, so there you can see on your slide now, Ivor, congratulations. You are the best performing player this week. You are the player. The poser was lekker ding. Unfortunately for you, jy is die swakste ding. Player, the poser. Yeah, you pose lekker ding. Bek gerek. Anyway, you win for yourself a signed Stormers jersey at the end of the season. The best, or at least the overall pool topping winner wins for themselves a signed Stormers jersey. And in second place, it's a 2,000 rands worth of Evox products. Third place gives you 1,000 rands worth of Evox products. Right, just incidentally, folks, this is the yellow cap. I'm going to have to throw it sort of into the middle there somewhere. Labeeb, can you maybe just put that in front of you there for just 1 second? Maybe just hold it up in front of you. There, you, folks, you can see there's the shot. Okay, so that is, of course, there you see the shot. You can put it at your chest. It's difficult to get these camera angles right, but there you go. Why do we put it there? Because Jerome is this week's most improved player. So congratulations to Jerome. Unfortunately, we don't have the celebrity panel up there, but we'll take a look at that later in the week. We don't like to brag about who's at the top of that panel, so we'll just skip right through that. Super Brew prediction times now from the panel. Labeeb, I hope you're going to throw some numbers in here for us as well. On Friday, it's the Blues and the Crusaders. Morgs.
I'm going to go Crusaders by 5.
Labeeb.
Blues by 7.
Mr. H.
Crusaders 10.
Crusaders by 10. That's a good big call because I don't know. The Crusaders sometimes start slow. I'm going to go with the Crusaders by 5. It's the Waratahs up against the Rebels. Morgs.
Waratahs by 7, JP.
Labeeb.
Waratahs by 12.
Mr. H.
Waratahs 9.
I'm going to go with the Rebels by 5. I don't know why I'm sticking with them, and I'm probably going to be told that's going against the grain. Reds and the Hurricanes, Morgs.
Oh, that's a tough one. I'm going to go Reds by 8.
Reds by 8. Labeeb.
Hurricanes 10.
Hurricanes 10.
Red 7.
Red 7. I'm going to go with the Hurricanes by 4. It's the Chiefs and the Cheetahs playing in Hamilton. Morgs.
Yes, Cheetahs have just travelled. I'm going to go Chiefs by 22.
Chiefs by 22. Yeah.
I've got Chiefs by 20.
Chiefs 14.
Chiefs 14. I'm going to go with the Cheetahs by... yes, sorry. I'm going to go... I'm going to go with the Chiefs, but I'm going to go low because I do think that the Cheetahs travel well away. They've proven us wrong many times in the past. I'm going to go with the Cheetahs by 4. The Bulls against the Force. They're playing in Pretoria. We know that the Bulls have lost some players. Morgs.
JP, Bulls by 17.
Bulls by 17 over the Force.
Bulls by 25.
Bulls by 25.
Bulls 20.
Bulls by 20. I'm going to go with the Bulls by 17 over the Force. Because I'm sure, as I said before, that probably the Lions players could have beaten the Force. But of course, the Lions are not allowed to play in the Super 15 this year. Sharks and the Stormers. Of course, there's only one team that you support in this prediction, win or lose, because you support the Stormers come heaven or high water. It's the Sharks against the Stormers in Durban, Morgs.
Would I be going against the Stormers or saying draw?
There's only one way to go.
Okay,
You can choose whatever you want.
I'll go Stormers by 3.
Did I hear a little bit of a shh in there? But yes, Labeeb.
I say Stormers by 9.
Stormers by 9?
Stormers 3.
Stormers by 3. I'm going to go for the Stormers by 9. That's, of course, your Super Brew predictions, and it is the end of our show. Remember, you can find us on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Cape Rugby TV. Find us on Twitter, @Cape Rugby TV. We want to hear from you on Twitter. We want to hear from you on Facebook. And as of next week, we'll be looking at some of your Facebook comments. We've been asking you for your suggestions on matches and how you feel about those post-matches. And we've been seeing some great comments come in, some flooding in on the Cape Rugby TV Facebook page. It does seem to be the new chat zone. Morgs, nice to see you on the show.
Good to be here. Thanks, Jeff. See you next week.
Labeeb, nice to have you here. Thank you very much. There's, of course, the cap.
No, it was great being here. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, now, of course, we want to see you on the show more often because we know that you're so integrally involved with Western Province. You know what's happening in the clubs.
Yeah.
You know what's happening at SK Warmers. And when it comes to the Dyes and the Proteas, and not to mention the fact that, of course, you helped out a little bit last year at the Varsity Cup as well. We were both there together.
I was UWC. We had
Yes.
a couple of sessions there with them, yes.
A couple of sessions at UWC, so you're completely in the mix. So we really would like to see you more often, and what a pleasure for the folks, the fans of Cape Rugby, to see you. And it runs in the family. Tell Munib we say hello.
I will. Thanks.
And Mr. H, we'll see you again next week.
Yeah, sure, JP. We'll be here.
Don't overdo the rugby.
No, I just want to say to the guys out there who don't know the new laws, on Thursday night,
Yeah.
there's a law session at Belleville High School.
Yeah.
And they can also buy a DVD on the laws for 10 Rand at the union offices.
So on Thursday at Belleville High School, they're going over the laws. Western Province is conducting, I take it, a laws seminar, and they can get a DVD.
Yep.
Belleville High School, how do they find out more about attending?
Benteron
at the union. You can phone the union at 021-659-4600 if you want to go and attend that referee's course. That's a wrap from us, folks. Next week when Jerome gets back, we'll see if he's still got the yellow cap. That's a wrap. We'll see you guys next week, same time, same place. Have a great rugby weekend. Bye-bye.